Hey, what's going on internet? Joshua Noel from Sunduck Film, and today we have a tutorial on creating quick lower thirds inside of After Effects. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started. So I'm already in a composition that I want to create my lower third in. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new solid. I'm going to go up to Layer, New, Solid, click on White, click OK. Then I'm going to create a box. I'm going to go up to the rectangle tool mask, and then I'm going to click, and then I'm going to hold down Option and Shift at the same time to create a square. And we have a square right there. I'm going to go ahead and just put it right there. Probably, actually, I would want to scale it down just a touch. Let's reposition that. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate the layer. And then I'm going to move it over to the right, and then I'm going to click on the two mask points right here, so in the upper right corner, and I'm going to shift click the lower right corner mask point here, and then I'm going to drag it out to make a rectangle. Okay, and then finally I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to duplicate this layer, and then I'm going to put it underneath the rectangle layer where it originally was, and then I'm going to select the two points at the bottom of the mask here, and then I'm going to drag them up. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the top left mask point and then the lower left mask point, shift clicked, and I'm going to drag it over to the right to make it smaller for a subtitle lower third. So right now we have a lower third for our logo, our name, and a subtitle. So with the basic outline drawn for the lower third, we can now start adding our elements and creating some colors and be a little bit creative with it. So first things first, I'm going to move this up a touch so we can kind of get the equal indent between the each of the boxes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drag down my logo for the logo plate. Come in here, I'm gonna scale, hit S to scale it. I'm gonna zoom out of here. Let's go ahead and position it onto our third. Try to get it as close as we can to centered. Scale that out to maybe 10. Maybe go ahead and bring that down a touch. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Command-Shift-Y on a Mac, and then I'm going to change the color to black for this plate, and click OK. Click New, and then I'm going to go to the subtitle lower third, hit Command-Shift-Y, and I'm going to select my eyedropper tool here and select the pink of my duck, and then click New. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I'm actually going to enable some footage that I have here, see what it looks like on an actual piece of footage. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a text title. I'm going to click up to the text tool. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to type my name, Joshua Noel, yep. Select that, make it a little bit bigger. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to create one more title. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this title, make it much smaller, and position it down here to the pink layer. And then I'm going to grab the text title tool, select my text, change it to motion graphic artist for my subtitle. I'm going to have to make it a little bit smaller. Maybe do like 40. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit design to the thirds here. So go ahead and start with the main plate here. I'm going to click the pen tool, go up to the pen tool, click that. And then I'm going to add another point to the mask right here. And then I'm going to hit V on my keyboard to select the selection tool. Select this right upper vertex, drag it down. Then I'm going to hit G on my keyboard to go up to the pen tool. And then I'm going to Alt click and drag the vertex handles up to create a rounded corner. And then I'm going to do the same for the pink plate here. I'm going to create one right here. I'm going to hit V on my keyboard and then hit Option on my keyboard. And then I'm going to do it one over here. So far that's looking cool. I'm going to go ahead and do it to the top right here on this plate here. I'm going to go ahead and make these plates stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to click the nameplate layer and then go up to Layer, Layer Styles, and Bevel and Emboss. and that will create an emboss. I'm going to go ahead and change some of those settings there. I'm actually going to go ahead and change the highlight color to a pink. I'm just going to go ahead and select that color, click OK. I'm going to go ahead and change the angle a bit. Go up to layer, layer styles, and drop shadow. And I'm going to go ahead and lower the intensity on that. I'm going to go click on drop shadow and lower the opacity of that to maybe like 45%. I'm going to go ahead and copy these two settings. Hit Command C or Control C on a PC, and then I'm going to hit Command V on a Mac and paste them onto the nameplate here, or the logo plate, excuse me. And that looks pretty cool, and I'm also going to go ahead and paste it onto the subtitle plate. So we have a little bit of depth in our lower thirds here, so only thing we have to do now is animate these. So I'm going to have to go ahead and create some pre-comps so we can animate everything together without a issue. So I'm going to go ahead and take the logo plate. I'm going to take the logo plate and the my logo, and I'm going to go up to layer, pre-compose. And I'm going to call this logo plate. I'm going to select my name and the dark red solid, pre-compose, and call this nameplate. Take the subtitle, pre-compose, and call this subtitle plate. Go up to 1 second. I'm going to hit P on the logo plate, hit position, go to the first frame of the composition, and drag the X position all the way to the right. So now that will animate on. So that'll come on right here. And then I want my nameplate to animate on. And what I'm going to do is just going to come out from the logo plate. So actually the logo plate needs to be the first layer. Subtitle plate needs to be the last layer. So now I'm going to create a mask. And I'm just going to create it like right here. Be nice and wide. So now we're going to animate the nameplate, and I'm going to go ahead and maybe go to 1 second and 17 frames, hit position keyframe, then go back to 1 second, and then position this all the way to the left to be right behind our logo plate. That's cool. Then now I have to create a mask, because I want it to come straight behind the logo plate and not where we can see it. What I'll do is I'll just create a nice mask right here, and then I will click subtract. And I will hit M on my keyboard, keyframe mask path, go over to the end position keyframe, hit V on my keyboard, select the mask, and move it over to right here. Now we just have the subtitle plate, and this is a little bit easier, so I'll just hit P on my keyboard, keyframe. I'm going to drag this keyframe over to probably 2.5 seconds, and then just move this plate up behind the nameplate so it'll kind of just drop down. Okay, so that's essentially done, but I just have to move the beginning of this layer over to right here, or it'll appear before the nameplate even comes on. So a little bit of trickery there. This drags down. So really the only thing we have to do now is make it go away, and that's really simple. So what I'll do is I'm going to select these two keyframes for the logo plate. I'm going to move over to maybe 5.5 seconds. Paste the keyframes, and then copy the nameplate keyframes and paste them at the end of the logo plate keyframe. Then copy the subtitle keyframes, copy, then move to the end of the nameplate keyframes, paste. Then I'm going to select all these keyframes, all the end keyframes, right click, keyframe assistance, time reverse keyframes. Now all we have to do is just move the keyframes over. So I'm going to select all the nameplate keyframes, then move it over to the beginning of the logo plate keyframe, then select the subtitle keyframes and move it over to the beginning of the nameplate keyframes. I'm going to have to cut the subtitle plate right here. I'll just hit Command Shift D and click delete. So that basically completes our lower third. Just remember to turn on motion blur for each of the layers you have animated. And that's how you create a lower third in After Effects. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I will get back to you. Please subscribe for more. And guys, I will see you next time.